Yo, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to be doing a Clash Royale tier list of every single card. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and to start off with the tier list, I'm going to be ranking, I guess, the arrows. Okay, I think the arrows are really good, and honestly, they might be one of the best spells. I think I'll just start off by putting them in the S tier. Arrows are very strong. They're very versatile and can be used in a ton of decks. Very strong in the meta right now, especially paired with the Evolve Zap. Okay, Archer Queen here. I think Archer Queen is also a S tier card. I mean, Archer Queen gets a ton of value. It's not as good as the Little Prince, but we're finally starting to see more Archer Queen usage because of the Evo Zap Arrows combo killing the Little Prince. So I think I'll put her in the S tier as well. We have regular archers. Man, I feel like archers are one of the most balanced cards in the game. Regular archers, that is. Evo archers are a different story, but regular archers are very solid. They're never like too good. They're never like weak either. I think they're just like a solid B tier card. Maybe like a little bit better than balanced. I think C will be a balanced tier, I guess. And yeah, okay. I think Balloon, I don't know. Balloon is really good sometimes, but then other times it feels like it's impossible to get through with it. I do think it is better than the archers. Against like this like certain tower troops, I feel like Balloon would be higher. I'm gonna put Balloon in the B tier. I don't think Balloon is that good, but I still think it's like very good at the same time. Okay, we have Baby Dragon. Man, Baby Dragon is one of the most annoying cards. I feel like I really don't like facing Baby Dragon, man. I think I'll put Baby Dragon in the B tier as well. I don't think it's much better than the other stuff in the B tier, but I still think it's better. Actually, maybe Archers could go down to C tier now that I think about it. It doesn't really look in place when you have the Balloon and the Baby Dragon. Okay, next up we have Bandit. Bandit is one of the best cards, man, if you just need like a little bit of damage, like to like somehow get through when you don't expect anything to get through. Bandit's that card. I think Bandit is really solid. It's pretty nice in bridge spam decks. Not really used outside of bridge spam decks, except maybe like a few Goblin Drill decks. I think I'll put Bandit in the A tier, honestly. I think she's really strong, actually. Next card we have is the Barbarian Barrel. Man, Barbarian Barrel is actually really scarily, like sneakily, I guess is the right word, sneakily strong. I feel like it's a really valuable defensive card that you really don't notice how good it is on defense until you play without it. If you go with it to without it, I guess. You realize how good it is at countering like the bandits, the ghosts, and stuff like that. When you don't have it, you're like, wow, I kind of need that extra ground card. I think I'll put it in the A tier just for how like nice it is on defense, I guess, like that. Oh man, we have the Barbarian Hut. This is just straight in the trash can, man. Do I even need to say anything? The Barbarian Hut is so bad. Barbarian Hut is actually terrible, man. I haven't seen a Barb Hut in like, I haven't seen it ever since the Triple Draft tournament, I guess. I literally only faced this card in the Triple Draft tournament, man. I never face it any other time, I guess. Do we have regular Barbarians? Man, regular Barbarians are kind of weak. Evolved Barbarians kind of brought them back from the dead. I feel like Barbarians aren't really that good when they're regular. I feel like they're just like a walking fireball or a nice positive elixir trade. I feel like I'll put them in the D tier, honestly. They're not as bad as Barpup, but they're definitely not balanced. I think they're kind of weak. We have regular bats, man. Regular bats are actually really good. I think regular bats are like, they're one of the cards, like, if you outcycle their counter or they don't have a counter right away for them, they're going to get a ton of damage, man. They do really good on defense. They're pretty good pressure as well if the opponent obviously has low dagger, Duchess Ammo, Princess Tower, or Cannoneer. I think I'll put them in the B tier. I'm not going to put them in the A tier just because of the Dagger Duchess meta. By the way, guys, this tier list will be based off of the current meta and not exactly like how I think they are like in general, because I feel like it's hard to rank them outside of the meta. Okay, we have the Battle Healer, man. Healer is actually so broken and not many people know about it. It's really good in Golem mainly, not even Elixir Golem. Elixir Golem's not that great right now, but it's so good in Golem, man. It just makes their troops never die, and ever since they added the spawn and heal to the healer, it's been like a hidden broken card that not many people really even know about. I'll put her in the A tier. I think she's actually really strong. Regular Battle Ram. I think regular Battle Ram is balanced. It doesn't need a nerf. It doesn't need a buff. It's already gotten so many buffs recently, and I think it finally found its place, especially with the evolution now. You don't really need a buff to the Battle Ram. I think it's right on tier with the Archers. Could maybe go up to the B tier, but I think it's worse than all of the cards in the B tier. We have Bomber. Okay, regular Bomber is actually a great card now that it one-shot Spirits. It is in a lot of decks because of the Evo, but I think even without the Evo, the Bomber is actually a pretty good card, and people don't really give it enough credit. And I do feel like that's why Bomber is so popular, because if it was trash as the regular form, it wouldn't be as used as it already is. I'll just put it in maybe the A tier. I think Bomber is actually a great card. All right, we have Bomb Tower. Bomb Tower is actually really good too. I don't think it's the best building anymore because of the Tesla evolution, but I think that Bomb Tower is definitely the second best building, and there's no really argument about that. I think I'll put the Bomb Tower in the A tier. Next up, we have the Bowler. Man, Bowler is one of my most hated cards for sure, man. It's so hard to break through the Bowler when you're playing a deck on the ground. And then obviously when you're playing Logbait like I am, man, good luck getting through the Bowler. It also gets all those nice shots on the tower when you pair it with the Tornado. It's always getting those like random bowls on the tower for like 450 damage a pop, man. It's way too much damage. I think he could be an A tier as well in a better meta, but I think in this meta, I think I'll have to put him. Nah, I'll put him in the A tier just because I hate him, but honestly, it could probably go in the B tier. Okay, Cannon, man. Cannon is so weak in this meta. To be fair, competing with the Bomb Tower and the Tesla isn't really easy. I do feel like that Cannon doesn't really have enough health for this meta, because when you're running with the Dagger Duchess, it doesn't really... It helps out a lot, but I feel like when it gets fireballed, if you can't pull other things to the opposite lane quickly enough, you're just kind of dead. I think I'll put Cannon in the C tier with the Battle Ram and the Archers. Cannon Cart. I actually can't remember the last time I faced a Cannon Cart on ladder. Cannon Cart gets like no love on ladder. I think it is better than all the cards in the C tier, man, but it really never gets used. I don't think it needs a buff. I just think it needs like a better meta for it, because Evo Knight and Monk kind of destroy the Cannon Cart, and those two cards have been dominating the meta. Not really much Monk anymore, but before the Evo Knight, the Monk was. And I feel like it's kind of kicking Cannon Cart out of the meta. I'll put him in the B tier. We have Clone Spell. Man, outside of like a gimmick, Clone is terrible, and I feel like with the introduction of evolutions, it kind of ruined gimmicks in the game, I'm not gonna lie. There's not really many fun decks anymore unless you personally find them fun. There's not like any of those crazy off-meta decks, and that's what Clone really thrived in. I'll put Clone in the F tier. Clone is really bad. Dark Prince, okay. I like Dark Prince. Dark Prince is one of my favorite cards to use, actually. I really enjoy using him. He's not as great as he was maybe, I want to say, a month or two ago, but I still think he's a pretty solid card, and honestly even underrated too. I would put him in the A tier, but I think I'll slide him into the B tier for this season. Dark Goblin, man, one of my personal favorite cards as well right here. He doesn't really get that much love anymore, man. I feel like with the Evo Bomber and the Evo Archers, there's really no point to use the Dark Goblin. Dark Goblin is kind of weak, man. I'll put him in the C tier. I hope he gets some love soon. Earthquake. Bro, Earthquake sucks this season, man. Earthquake sucks this season. The only thing it's good for is the Elixir Collector, but outside of that, it doesn't kill anything, and then everybody has like these annoying cards that you need Fireball or Arrows for, and Earthquake just doesn't really get the job done. I'll put Earthquake in the B tier, but man, I feel like Earthquake could also use some love, I'm not gonna lie. Electro Dragon, okay. Dude, I always say this about the Electro Dragon. If you can kill it, it's terrible. If you can't or have a hard time killing it, it feels like one of the most broken cards in the game. For that, it has to be at least B tier. For this meta, I think I'd put it in the B tier, only because the the Dagger Duchess fully counters the E-Drag for no damage on the tower if you don't support it. Just for that reason, I think you gotta put it in the B tier. I think otherwise I'd put it in the A tier. Electro Giant, man, you guys are going to hate me for this. So guys, if you hate the Electro Giant, please plug your ears and close your eyes for a minute. But E-Giant is not really good anymore. It used to be really, really strong, but I feel like in this meta with the Dagger Duchess, the Evolved Tesla, E-Giant kind of took a big hit. And E-Giant, man, E-Giant is bad right now. I think E-Giant could go in the B tier as well. I think in any other season, though, it could go to A, maybe even S. Electro Spirit. Electro Spirit used to be my most hated spirit. I hate the Electro Spirit, to be honest, but in a Goblin Drill meta, in a Giant meta, you don't really want the Electro Spirit. You really want the Ice Spirit or Fire Spirit for this meta, so I think I'll put the Electro Spirit in the B tier. Not that I think it's like actually like a like above average card. I think it's a strong card, but the meta doesn't really suit it very well. Man, the E-Wiz. Rest in peace, E-Wiz. I can't remember the last time I actually faced an E-Wiz, man. The Little Prince, the Evo Archers, and the Evo Bomber just completely took E-Wiz out of the game, man. Nobody uses it anymore. I remember when the E-Wiz used to be so strong, but now it's definitely just like a very average balanced card, I think. E-Wiz is pretty balanced. I don't think it needs a buff or a nerf. We have Elite Barbarians. Elite Barbarians are one of the cards that, like, when they're over leveled, they're so good. When they're under leveled, they suck. And when they're like on an equal playing field, they're not great. They're not bad either. I think they're like upper balanced. Like, they don't need a buff, but they definitely don't need a nerf either. They're probably just like a solid B tier card, honestly. A little bit underrated in my opinion. We have the Elixir Collector. Man, one of my most hated cards of all time too. Elixir Collector is definitely an S tier card. You always get a positive Elixir trade unless they have an Earthquake, which is just absurd to me. Definitely S tier, man. Actually, maybe Evo Zap doesn't get a positive trade actually too. Probably Evo Zap and Earthquake, I guess. We have E-Golem. E-Golem, I feel like E-Golem itself isn't that good. It's better than what people give it credit for. Like, the E-Golem blobs are so strong, and they do a scary amount of damage, but I feel like E-Golem's not really ever the problem when I face an E-Golem deck. It's more of like the Night Witch, the Elixir Collector, or the Skeleton King. I'll put E-Golem in the B tier. It's not really that great. Okay, Executioner. I also really like the Executioner, but I don't think it's really that good anymore. It has been getting a lot more love in like competitive play like CRL and stuff like that, but on ladder terms, I don't really see the Executioner that often. I feel like Executioner could go to A or B tier. I think just because of the Evo Bomber being a way better version of the Executioner, I'll put it in the B tier, but I think it... Okay, these normally are not in order, but I think he's the best card in the B tier right now by far. Fireball, man, I think most spells are just S tier. Fireball is so strong right now. It is a little bit weaker than Poison, but Fireball is still so good. I think maybe just for the meta, I'll put it in the A tier, but I think in most other seasons, it would be in the S tier. Firecracker, man, I think Firecracker is one of the best, if not the best, not Evo'd Evos. Like, it has an Evo, but it's so good as the not Evo version. It's amazing, man. I think I'll put the regular Firecracker in the B tier. Actually, I think I'll put it A tier. I think it's really strong. I'm not going to lie. We have Fire Spirit. Okay. Fire Spirit is the best spirit. It always gets a lot more value than what it costs. It is only one elixir. You guys have to keep that in mind. It's not going to be like a game-winning card, but I think Fire Spirit is super strong. I'll put Fire Spirit S tier. The next card we have here will be Fisherman. Fisherman is so underrated, actually. I think Fisherman might be one of the best 3 elixir cards that we've ever seen. There is so much utility for the Fisherman, man. I feel like Fisherman gets so much value for 3 elixir, and nobody even talks about it. I mean, the amount of value that you get for 3 elixir and the amount of utility is just unbelievable, man. I'm going to rank the Fisherman A tier, dude. People just don't really understand how good the Fisherman actually is until they face him or even use him properly, and wow, he's so good. Flying Machine. I think this is my most hated card of all time. My most hated card does switch usually to whatever is like most broken at the time, but Flying Machine is just so annoying, man. As a Logbait player myself, who uses Rocket, when you don't have a Fireball or like a Mega Minion or something like that, good luck, man. You can't kill it. If I'm being honest, though, I think it's just like a B tier card. It's not great. It's not bad. I think that's a pretty good ranking for it. We have the Freeze spell. Man, Freeze is another gimmick that's pretty much dead outside of Graveyard Freeze. Graveyard Freeze is pretty much the only... Oh, and Lumberloon Freeze, but those are really the only 2 decks keeping Freeze strong. I don't think it's bad. Like, I don't think it needs a buff per se, but I don't think it needs, like... Obviously, it doesn't need a nerf. I think it's just one of those cards that are, like, only good in a few random decks, and it should kind of stay that way, I think. I'm not going to lie. I'll put that there. And we have the Furnace here. Okay. I think Furnace is really good. No, I'm just kidding. Furnace sucks. I'm going to put it in the F tier. Okay, just going to put that down there in the trash can. Giant, bro. Giant is so broken this meta. Giant's definitely the best win condition right now. I'm going to put that right in the S tier. Dude, every time I try to make a YouTube video, I face Giant over and over and over, and I can literally never get a video without facing at least 5 Giants out of like 10 games, man, and it makes it so hard to record. Giant's brother, the giant skeleton. If only this was as good as the giant, man. This card's kind of mid, I guess. It's definitely stronger than balanced. It doesn't need a buff. If you had to buff or nerf it, I'd definitely give it a nerf, but it doesn't need either of them. I think Giant Skeleton used to be much better, but now it's just like kind of in the shadow of like the Evos, like Evo Knight, Evo Valk, those kind of things. So I think I'll put him in the B tier, but man, he has so much potential and he could be so great in the right deck. Snowball. Man, Snowball is so good. I don't think it's better than Arrows. I don't think it's an S tier spell. I think it's like an A tier spell. It's about on the level of Fireball and Barbell. Might be a little bit better than Fireball and a little bit worse than Barbell. But I don't think it should be an S tier. I think it should be an A tier spell. Oh, let's go. We have the Goblin Barrel here, guys. My main card right here. um, man, Goblin Barrel needs a buff. It's not like an F tier card. It's not on the level of like Barbarian Hut, Clone, and Furnace, but it's definitely bad, man, and it needs a buff. It needs some love. I think I'll put it in the D tier. It's definitely not balanced, that's for sure. Goblin Cage, man, I hate this card. Goblin Cage is actually one of the most frustrating buildings for me, at least. I think I'll put it in the B tier. I think it should get nerfed for personal reasons, but I don't think it's that broken. Goblin Drill. Bro, Goblin Drill I think is the second best win condition in the game right now. It's like right behind Giant. I think there's just a little bit more Giant than there is Goblin Drill. But I do think that Goblin Drill is definitely an S tier card and definitely needs a nerf. S tier is like needs a nerf, no questions asked. It could use like, you know what I mean? Like it could use a nerf. Well, maybe not needs a nerf, but definitely probably needs a nerf. I don't think Fire Spirit needs a nerf. We have Goblin Gang here. Goblin Gang, it's usually pretty solid, I would say. It's definitely better than Goblin Barrel. I'd say it's balanced, man. In the right meta, it could be B tier, but I think it's just like a solid balanced card. I think I'll put it in the C tier, especially in this meta with the Dagger Duchess. Next card, we have Goblin Giant. Bro, Goblin Giant was the best card in the game like 4 months ago, man, but with this new meta, bro, Goblin Giant has not been hitting. There is one deck with actually like Giant Skeleton, Goblin Giant, but I don't think it's really that good anymore. Maybe I think it could be like B tier or A tier. I'm not really sure which one though. I think I'll put it in the A tier just because I think it's better than most of the cards in the B tier. Okay, Goblin Hut, bro. Straight in the trash can again. Bro, with the new Dagger Duchess, the Goblin Hut literally doesn't even reach the tower. Furnace doesn't reach the tower, and then with Cannoneer, Furnace still doesn't reach the tower, bro. Those cards are trash. Goblins, bro. Goblins are so good, actually. I want to put them S tier, but because of the meta, I'll put them in the A tier just because of all the Bomber Arrows and Evo Zaps. I think they're a little bit worse, but I think it's fine to put them in the A tier. Okay, we have Golden Knight. I think Golden Knight, man, it was loved once. It was once loved, man. Greatly appreciated, but they have buffed it twice, actually, recently. They buffed the damage and they buffed the ability cooldown time, but I think the reason it's not good is because it barely dashes onto multiple units. I think when it dashed onto more units, it was broken, though, but man, it's not what it once was. It's definitely just, it's living in the shadow of what it once was. I'll put it in the B tier, just because it is a champion. It does give you 3-card cycle, so it's still like a strong card, but it's nothing crazy. All right, we have the Golem. Man, I don't think Golem's really that great either. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Golem needs a little bit of love, man. I think I'll put Golem in the B tier. It's not really that great as a win condition. It's a pretty good deck, though, honestly. Golem doesn't need a buff, man, but I feel like Golem, it's in like the most no-skill decks nowadays, and what was Golem isn't really what Golem used to be, man. Next up, we have the Graveyard. Bro, if this was literally 2 months ago, or no, literally last season, I would have put Graveyard S tier, man, but with the nerfs, man, I mean, it did only lose one skeleton, bro, but I think that did affect it just a little bit. But I think it's just a change in meta, man. Graveyard is not as good as it used to be, and it's kind of fallen out of the meta. I'm really happy about it, to be honest. I think Graveyard's A tier, but was S tier not too long ago. Oops. Okay. We have the Guards. Bro, Guards are so good, but like so much worse than skeletons, and I think worse than goblins as well. Especially in this meta, man. Maybe they're not that bad, but bro, they've honestly like they have been making somewhat of a comeback, but I feel like Evo Zap kind of kicked them back out of the meta. Evo Zap killing guards kind of made them unspell resistant again, and I think that's what kind of ruined them. Arrows not killing guards is what brought them back, but now that Evo Zap kills them, I feel like it kind of threw them away again, I'm not gonna lie. But I still think they're really solid as long as they don't have Evo Zap, so I'll put them in the A tier. Okay, Heal Spirit. Bro, when's the last time you faced a Heal Spirit? I haven't faced a Heal Spirit in actually so long, man. I feel like Heal Spirit, though, isn't even weak. It's just so much worse than the Fire and the Ice Spirit that you never really get any usage out of it. Heal Spirit, man, I'm going to put it in the D tier. I don't want it to get buffed because I don't think healing cards should be in the game, but it's definitely not that great. Hog Rider. Man, the Hog Rider story is so sad. It was so good up until the Cannoneer came out. The Cannoneer and the Dagger Duchess counter it so badly, man, that I feel like you can't put it above the B tier, but it's definitely better than Balance. So I'll put him in the B tier, man. Cannoneer and Dagger Duchess, if they get nerfed, Hog Rider will be great again. Hunter. Bro, Hunter is like so like randomly good. Like whenever you face it, like, wow, this card is good. Why don't people use it? But then when you use it, you're like, wow, I don't want to have this card in my deck ever again. It's not doing anything. I think Hunter is like pretty balanced, I would say, especially with the other cards kind of kicking it out of the meta. I'll put it in the C tier. Ice Golem, bro. Ice Golem is so good this season. Because of everybody using Dagger Duchess, the Ice Golem is really able to soak up all the daggers and just be kind of like a meat shield, I guess, for only 2 elixir. I think I'll put him in the A tier. It's so weird. Ice Golem was like trash, like maybe like D in the last one that I did, but now he's probably up in the A tier. Ice Spirit, man, I don't even need to say much. Ice Spirit is definitely an S tier card. Ice Spirit is so good, man. I love the Ice Spirit. Ice Spirit has a special place in my heart. Okay, we have the Ice Wizard. I think I'll put the Ice Wizard in the C tier. I think it's balanced. I don't think it needs a nerf. Definitely could maybe get a buff, but it's definitely not as bad as the cards in D tier. Hunter's making the Ice Wizard work, man. Ice Wizard strong. Okay, let me... Oh, Inferno Dragon. Bro, Inferno Dragon's getting more usage this season than it was last season, but I feel like it's not all that. I think it is pretty good in Lava Hound, but I really don't see it in anything but Lava Hound. I'll put it in the A tier. All right, we have the Inferno Tower. Inferno Tower is pretty good as well, honestly, making a little bit more of a comeback in this meta just because of the amount of Giant in the season, but then it's kind of sucking because of all the Goblin Drill, so it's a pretty annoying season for that reason. I think Inferno Tower is A tier right now, definitely the third best building behind the Bomb Tower. Regular Knight's just like Firecracker, where when it's not evolved, it's still so good, actually. You don't need an Evolved Knight. Sometimes you can go without the Evolved Knight. I think I'll put the Evolved Knight in the A tier. Lava Hound. Lava Hound is it's so good this season as a deck, but as a card, it's really not that strong. I think as a card, it's in like the same boat as Golem. It is a little bit stronger because of the Dagger Duchess, same as Golem. I think maybe I'll put the Lava Hound at the top of that B tier with the Golem. By itself, it's just not really that great. Lightning. We've been seeing a lot more Lightning this season, just because of all of the Evolved Tessels, I guess, maybe because of some Elixir Collectors too, but definitely not a lot of Lightning, just a lot more of it compared to none. I think Lightning is a good spell, but I feel like it's kind of like Earthquake, where it's not really that great, and it's only good in some very specific scenarios, so I'll put Lightning in the B tier. Little Prince, bro, Little Prince is just S tier. I don't even need to speak about it, man. It's been the best card in the game for like 8 months now, 6 months. Whenever it released, it's been the best card since release, which I think is about 6 months now, 7 months. Lumberjack. Bro, Lumberjack is good, but it's not that good. It's only in a few decks like Lumberloon and Golem, maybe. I think I'll put him in the B tier as well. I feel like he's in the same position as the Giant Skeleton, just getting outshined by a few other cards. Magic Archer. Bro, Magic Archer is so good, but I feel like it took a big hit with the Evo Zap killing him. Still not bad, though. Definitely not bad, but it's not an A tier card. You know what I mean? I think it's like a B tier card again. I do love the Magic Archer, though. It's one of my favorite draft cards, actually. Mega Knight. Bro, Mega Knight, a lot of you guys are going to dislike me for this, bro, but Mega Knight is not an S tier card. I don't think it's A tier. I think the highest you could put it is B tier. Maybe last season it could have been S tier, but this season I feel like it's just like a solid B tier, honestly. It's nothing crazy. Mega Minion. Okay, we do have the Mega Minion here. Mega Minion's just a solid card, man. It's not broken, but it's never bad. It's never going to let you down. Like, you're never upset about having a Mega Minion or facing it either. I think it's just a solid B tier, and it's like the most accurate you could ever give it. Oh, this is my favorite card in the game, guys. If you didn't know, Mighty Miner is my favorite card of all time, and it will always be my favorite card, no matter what they add. Mighty Miner, I think, honestly, even though I want it to get buffed really badly, I think it's A tier, man, just because it's a champion. It's a little bit weaker now than it was maybe a year ago, but I think it's been coming back quite recently just because of all the giants in the meta. You've been using the Mighty Miner more to counter the giants. Miner, bro, Miner actually took hit. This is the first time I will not be ranking Miner S tier. This is the very first time Miner won't be S tier, man. The Dagger Duchess counters Miner for only 2 hits. It's been kind of kicking Miner out of the meta, but with a few combos, Miners can still like make it work a little bit. But man, it's just not what it was before. But it's still so good. I feel like probably like a top A tier card. All right, we have the Minion Horde. Man, I feel like Minion Horde kind of sucks. It's literally just like evolved bats for 3 more elixir. If I ever wanted like a Minion Horde, I'd just go for the evolved bats and heal them up. I mean, yeah, man, I'm just gonna put this in the D tier. It's not that great. Minions are better than Minion Horde, but they're still not too good. I think they're balanced, though. Minions are definitely balanced. They do have their spot in the game. Minion Horde doesn't really have that spot. So I think Minions are a little bit better in the C tier. Okay, we also have Mini P.E.K.K.A. Man, Mini P.E.K.K.A, so underrated, but so weak right now at the same time. He's definitely not just balanced. I think he could be a B tier card. I feel like he's just on the same level as a lot of the B tiers. Bro, we have the Mirror. When's the last time you guys faced a Mirror? I actually can't remember the last time I faced a Mirror, bro. Mirror is just so, like, not good. Ever since it went down to level 15 again, I knew it would never get used, man. Straight in the trash can. Monk. Bro, Monk is better than Mighty Miner, but it's not an S tier card. Monk is actually really good right now with all the Evo Bomber and Little Prince, stuff like that. I think A tier. Okay, Mortar. Regular Mortar is like the Knight and the Firecracker. It's really good, even as the regular version. I think it might even be better than the evolved version when you're talking about which evolutions you want to use, but obviously Mortar can't be better than evolved Mortar. I think Mortar is just like a solid B tier card right now. Because of the Evo Battle Ram, I feel like Mortar is not really that great, just because the Mortar kind of gets destroyed by it. Mother Witch, bro. Mother Witch is actually so good. I think I'll put her in the A tier. I think my second most hated card in the game, honestly. Card always destroys me. Musketeer. Musketeer is like another one that's like always solid, like Mega Minion. You're never disappointed to have her, but you never like need her, but you like her when she's there. I'll put her in the B tier. Night Witch, okay. Man, Night Witch was S tier last season. This tier, she's probably like A tier. I mean, she's in the most popular giant deck, so she can't be that bad, right? We have P.E.K.K.A. Man, P.E.K.K.A did get a lot of buffs in the balance changes. It has been getting a lot of love. Sorry for the hiccup. It has been getting a lot of love, but I just don't think that it's really that good. I think it's just B tier. I think maybe if the meta wasn't so bad for P.E.K.K.A, I think it could be S tier. Not S tier, but A tier. Phoenix, bro. Phoenix is really good. I'm glad people are finally starting to see how good Phoenix actually was. I was saying it ever since it got nerfed and kind of fell out of the meta that it was so good. It just didn't really have a spot in the meta because of what was in it. But now Phoenix has really been shining in that giant deck, and it's definitely like a solid A tier card, man. Poison, bro. Poison is probably the second best spell in the game behind Evo Zap. I'll put the Poison in the S tier, man. Poison is so good. Next up, we have the Prince. Prince is actually really good, but not many people know about it, I think. I don't really see many people use it. To be fair, it is pretty weak against distraction cards. I think Prince is just like the Dark Prince, where it's sneakily good, but nobody really uses it, and it's not too great in the meta, so I'll put Prince in the B tier right next to his brother. Next up, we have the Princess. Princess is my second favorite card. The thing I love about the Princess is how much you, like, can outplay somebody with her. It's always mind games, whether it's going to be at the bridge or in the back, and I love that about her. It always allows you to get some really nice positive elixir trades. I'll put her in the B tier. I don't think actually, I'll put her in the C tier. I think she's balanced, but I think she's a little bit better than balanced. Maybe I'll put her in the B tier, actually. I think I'm being biased right now. Okay, we have Rage. Rage is actually really good. I love the Rage. It's a pretty fun card to use. I really don't like facing it, though. It's not as good as it was before because of all the Goblin Drill in the meta, so I'll put it in the A tier, but man, it could so be an S tier card. Ram Rider. Bro, I thought Ram Rider was going to be getting the evolution this season and not the Battle Ram, but rip to the Ram Rider, man. Ram Rider's weak. I always smile when I see a Ram Rider because I always feel like I'll be able to defend her no matter what. Put Ram Rider in the B tier. I don't think she needs a buff, but man. Actually, I'll put her in the C tier. I think she's balanced. Rascals. Bro, Rascals need some love, man. They suck this season. I'm putting them in the D tier, bro. They suck. Rocket. I'm also going to put Rocket. I'm going to put Rocket, honestly, in the F tier. Nobody uses Rocket anymore, man. Only Hunter, I guess, and I use Rocket sometimes when I use OG Logbait, but that's literally it, man. Rocket sucks. Delivery. Bro, if this was literally any other season, I would put Delivery in the A tier. S tier, maybe, no questions asked, but this season, it's just like a solid B tier card, man. It's nothing crazy. Royal Ghost. Ooh. I don't know. I think Royal Ghost is probably A tier. Definitely not S tier, but it's definitely better than B tier. Regular Royal Giant. Man, the regular Royal Giant is so annoying. I hate Royal Giant, but it's nothing crazy. I think RG's like maybe B tier with the RG. I mean, with the Lava and the Golem, sorry, but it's nothing like too bad, too strong right now in the meta. Royal Hogs. Bro, Royal Hogs went from hero to zero so fast. They were so good. Ian finished number 1 with them. I finished number 5 with them. And then one season later, they're terrible. And nobody uses them anymore because of the meta switch. Because of all the evolved bomber, man. And I don't know. I think Piggies, I'll put them in the B tier as well. They're nothing crazy, but if they have a good meta, they'll be amazing again. Regular recruits, they're trash. I'm going to put them D tier. The regular recruits are just not good. The evil recruits, though, they're so good and annoying, but I'm never really worried about the regular ones. Skeleton Army. Bro, Skeleton Army is such a funny card. It's like such like a noob-friendly card, and it's one of the cards that you hate the most when you're a bad player, but then when you're a good player, you only really don't like it if you don't have a good counter for it. Skeleton Army's probably just balanced, honestly. I think it's just balanced. Skelly Barrel, that card's weak, bro. It's one of the worst cards. I think it needs a buff badly. I'll put it in the F tier. Bro, Skelly Drags? Skelly Drags are A tier, man. They're so strong. I hate facing Skeleton Dragons. They actually get me so mad, man. Skelly King, okay. Skeleton King would probably be A tier, man. Definitely better than the Golden Knight, but not better than the Mighty Miner or the... Actually, it's probably better than the Mighty Miner right now because of all the Goblin Drill, but it's definitely not better than the Mighty Miner. I mean, not the Mighty Miner, I mean the Monk. Sorry, guys. I'm really tired. As you can see, it's 6:15 in the morning. Okay. I have Skeletons here. Skeletons are S tier, even though they're not evoed. There's no way that they're not S tier, I think, just because of how great they are, even without the evolved version. I think it's the best non-evolved card. Okay, we have Sparky, bro. Sparky really is living up to its reputation as a trash can on wheels. Sparky isn't good anymore. It used to be good, but man, I think after the one nerf it got, it just hasn't been the same. I'll put it in the D tier. It's pretty bad, this meta. Spear Gobs. Bro, Spear Gobs, when they were good, I thought they needed a nerf, but now they kind of suck, dude. Just because of the Dagger Duchess, they get no damage versus the Dagger Duchess. Put them C tier. I think they're balanced. Regular Tesla. Regular Tesla's actually pretty solid. I think regular Tesla's an A tier card, but Evo Tesla would be S tier. Alright, guys, we have the log. I think this is one of the GOATs of Clash Royale, man. One of the best spells of all time. Maybe the best spell of all time, honestly, if you go in terms of consistency. It's always been very solid. Three Musketeers, bro. I want to put them right in the trash can, but I think they're a little bit better than the trash can. I'll put them in the D tier. There's no meta Three Musketeers decks. There's literally one guy on ladder who plays Three Musketeers, but he took up the Three Musketeers. Like, man, it never... No card has been, like, that bad, man. Tombstone, okay. Tombstone, it's really only good in Lava and Graveyard, which there's not much Graveyard right now, so I think I'll put Tombstone in B tier. If Graveyard was good, I'd probably put it in the A tier. Tornado, bro, Tornado is one of the easiest S tiers of all time. Tornado needs an emergency nerf, man. That card always gets so much value. It's ridiculous. Valkyrie. Regular Valkyrie is actually solid, but I don't think it's as good as the regular Knight. I think I put regular Knight A tier, so I think it would just be right to put Valkyrie in the B tier. Wall Breakers. Bro, Wall Breakers fell off. Wall Breakers used to be S tier. Now they're like B tier. They're better than balanced, but man, the meta kind of destroyed them. Okay, Witch. Bro, Witch is going to go in the trash can. Wizard, you're in the trash can. Expo. I feel like Expo is a little bit better than the Goblin Barrel and the Three Musketeers, so I think I'll put Expo in the C tier. I think a lot of cards that Expo is countered by needs nerfs. That's why it's not as good, but it's been making a comeback because of the Evo Bomber. Regular Zap, bro. Regular Zap is a D tier card. Evo Zap did revive it and made it very popular, though. I like how they're adding evolutions to not the greatest cards, like balanced or underbalanced cards before broken cards. It makes it much more nice to have like a refreshment in the meta, I guess. I'll put Zap in the D tier. Zappies, bro. Zappies are just balanced. They don't need a buff. They don't really need nerf. Okay, Princess Tower. Here we're rating towers, guys. So for Princess Tower, I guess I'll put her A tier. I guess. But then you have the Dagger Duchess and the Cannoneer straight to S tier, man. There's no questions need to be asked here. The Dagger Duchess and Cannoneer are so broken, man. I wish they got nerfed. Okay, now we have evolutions, guys. I'm going to rank the evolutions on their own as Evos, so don't think that, like, oh, Barbs are worse than regular Barbs. I will be ranking them strictly as Evos, because if I rank them, obviously, like, A tier, S tier, or something, they would all be S tier, so I'll rank them as individual, like, Evos. So as if I was doing, like, an Evos tier list, I guess. So Evo Barbs, I think they're good. They're definitely not the best. I think they're upper balanced Evos. Like, they're strong Evos, but I don't think the Evo Barbs need a nerf, so I'll put them in the B tier for the Evo list. Skellies. Bro, Skellies are so good. I think Skellies are probably an A tier evolution. Skeletons, they can 3-crown you, but if you have the right counters, man, they don't get that much value, but if you don't, they're going to defend everything. Evo Firecracker. A lot of you guys are going to hate me for this because a lot of you guys said your most hated card was Evolved Firecracker, man, but I think that Evolved Firecracker is on the same level as Barbarians. It doesn't need a nerf, but it's very strong. But maybe it's being outshined by the Evo Bomber. But let me know down in the comments what you think about the Evo Firecracker spot. Evo RG, I think Evo RG is in the same tier as the Barbs and the Firecracker, honestly. I don't think it needs a nerf. Maybe it could get a little bit of a rework, but definitely not a nerf. Evo Mortar, I think Evo Mortar is better than the RG and Firecracker Evo. Probably on the same tier as Skeletons. Maybe not right now, but I think it should be. Okay, Evo Knight S tier. Probably the second or third best Evo right now. Recruits, okay, recruits are pretty good, but they're bad in the meta, so I'll put them in the C tier. Evo recruits are really good, man. But too much Little Prince, too much Bomber. Okay, Bats. I think Bats are having the same problem. The Evo's that meta, kind of kicking them out. Okay, Evo Archers, they're definitely A tier. They're better than the Firecracker and RG. Probably on the same level as Mortar. Evo Ice Spirit, bro, straight in the trash can. When you ever seen Evo Ice Spirit or ever want to use it or wish you had it. Evo Valkyrie's A tier. It's really good. Definitely not S tier. Evo Bomber, bro, let's put that at number 1. Evo Bomber, do I even need to say anything? When's the last time you watched a top ladder gameplay video and you didn't see an Evo Bomber in there at least once? Evo Wall Breakers, bro, they're bad. The meta's kind of ruining them. I'll put them D tier, man. It's the meta, but bro, they are literally useless. Evo Tesla, I think I'll put Evo Tesla S tier. Definitely better than the Valkyrie, Mortar, Archers, and Skeletons. Evo Zap, man. Evo Zap is the second best Evo in my opinion. Gets so much value. I do love the Evo though. It's a lot of fun. I give them credit for that. And then we have the Evo Battle Ram. Man, Evo Battle Ram wasn't what it looked like. I thought it was going to be the best card of all time. I think Dagger Duchess and Cannoneer are kind of making it not as strong as it would have been. But just for the value that it can give, I have to put it at least in the B tier, man. And that will be my tier list, guys. Thank you so much if you stayed this long, and thank you if you've even watched the video at least a little bit. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Oh yeah, by the way, let me know how the mic was. I am using my new mic, guys. Please let me know how you think about the mic, and bye.